Do I tell my child they have autism?
I'd like to discuss with you a topic that is very important to both you and your child. A topic that's going to affect the rest of their life. And that is whether or not to tell your child they have autism. You know, I, for one, did not tell my son that he had autism. Again, this is a personal decision. This is something I really would like you to think long and hard about. Do not make this decision to tell your child they have autism because you're frustrated one day, or you're being a little bit self-centered, you just kind of want to give them explanations for things, you know, on an easy textbook level. Please do not do it that way. Please really, really think long, think hard, talk to other parents if you need to, discuss it with your spouse or your partner or anyone close to you, and really, really think about it. I, for one, don't believe in labels. I really don't. Labels are for the people that are going to help the person with the label, if that makes sense. It's kind of a guideline to see, you know, certain strategies in the past that have helped with this particular disorder, whether it's autism or ADHD or any of the kind of learning disabilities. So you really want to look at your child, find out where they are emotionally, and then make a list of why do they need to know? Why do they really need to know? Do they need a reason, you know, for some of their behaviors? I don't think so. And I really think that there's enough pressure on children today that they just need to learn how to be themselves, okay? So what I would do is to let them really have some time. Let them have a long period of time. And I'll tell you why. I've had parents tell their children they have autism from the age of 5 all the way to the age of about 12, to where it really kind of interfered with their, you know, view of themselves, and in kind of a funny way. I mean, it's funny now. Every time it happens, I get, you know, I don't think it's that funny, but they use it as an excuse for everything. I have had kids tell me, well, I can't do my schoolwork today because I have autism, and you know, I'm having a situation focusing, or they'll tell me, you know, I had one child come up and say, I have to be first in line, because he was getting in trouble for cutting all the time. You know, the kids were mad and the teacher got mad and blah, blah, blah. And so he'd say, well, I have to because, you know, I have a low frustration level and I can't tolerate a lot of frustrations, and so I need to be in the front of the line every time. Okay, I mean, you know, he's this big. I really don't think that we need to give them an excuse. I had a 12-year-old boy who was extremely bright, but he got on the internet and did more research on autism than the average parent does in 10 years. He did it in 10 minutes. And he starts discussing all these intense terms and treatments on the playground with his friends who just want to play basketball. Okay? Not a real good kid-friendly image. It's not what you call a real, you know, bring the peer over and let's have a good time kind of a topic. So again, really think long and hard. This is a decision that will impact the way that they look at themselves forever. My son happened to figure it out when he was in his, I want to say 14, somewhere in there. It might have been a little bit younger. And he's a very mature young man. He has a great sense of humor. He's a wonderful, amazing young man. But he figured it out because he was always hearing me on the telephone, number one, talking to parents, talking to therapists, discussing children, discussing strategies. And I think that's really what clicked in his mind, is the strategy end of it, because he realized that, hey, wait a second, this is all that stuff that she did with me. And that's exactly the way he came to me. He said, Mom, you know, you did all that same kind of things that I hear you talking to Denise about. You know, did I have autism? And I explained it to him again the same way that I did when he was younger, but I included the term this time, saying, well, a lot of people thought he was on the autism spectrum. He had a lot of the same traits, and, you know, but part of it was a physical thing where he had these viruses and it impacted his neurotransmitters and all this, which gets down to my core belief. However, he never used this as an excuse. In fact, he said to me, So basically, I'm the whole reason you got into this business. And I said, well, yes, it is. And he said, so basically, I changed the course of our whole family's life. And I said, yeah. And he goes, wait a minute. I've probably helped change a whole bunch of kids' life. And after I stopped crying, I said, yes, you have. Yes, you have. So remember, patience, hope, and faith.